I mean, how's things, mate? So, Eddie Herman's done the gym. Is everything okay with Eddie at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. He's excited with the young heavyweight I've got involved with, Johnny Fisher. So he's a promising local big punching prospect. I'm very excited about him. He's a good athlete.
The
He
Romford
moves
Bull.
well. What's that?
The Romford Bull.
The Romford Ball. That's him. Yeah, the Romford Ball. So he's quite a popular figure anyway, and he's very well known and that. And he's only 21, so I think he's gonna be all right. He's got in touch with Peter Fury for a bit of sparring with Huey, so he's off there. He's off to see to do some sparring with Huey on Huey Fury on Monday. So that'd be a really good education for him. So I'm happy about that.
Definitely, mate.
Awesome.
Before we get on to big Johnny Fisher, are you slightly worried now, Mark, at the moment with this sort of coronavirus .2 coming around?
Well, it don't look very. It's not very nice what's happening, but I'm really proud of the two big promoters that are trying to put shows on or are putting shows on. So it's keeping our sport that we love alive, so they're doing what they can do along with the British Boxing Board of Control. But it's quite worrying, I must say. It's worrying for the vulnerable and for the elderly, for sure. But I'm a little bit sceptical about things with that. But you got to do what the government says by the guidelines. Yeah, so it's not looking good. But like I say, the two big promoters seem to be plugging away with their shows. And when you hear of Usyk and Chisora, the big fights like that, so it's quite promising. whether they come about, I hope they do.
Yeah, evening, Mark. As Scott said, thanks for joining us tonight, mate.
Evening, my man. You okay?
Yes, all well, thanks, mate. All well. I've got to get straight into it, Mark. You announced this week officially you've reunited with current WBO World Champion Billy Joe Saunders, a man, as we know, you know so well, have had success with. Just tell us, Mark, how did this reunion come about, mate?
Well, I think it was a couple of months ago. We touched Bill touched base with me via WhatsApp. Got a message from him saying he'd like to come down and have a couple of sessions, something like that. It might have been about a month ago. It might have been more than that, But we planned it and we never got around to it. I suppose because of this COVID scenario. And then when the gym started opening again, he come down my new gym, the Origin Gym in Rainham in Essex, where I currently have my London base. And we had a couple of sessions, and that was it. A little bit of a chit chat, and then obviously he started. He's in the preliminary stages of his camp. He started camp now, but we moved to a different gym that was nearer to his home because I worked out times and that. We worked out times between us, so he wasn't driving too far, so he gets a bit of resting. Excuse me. But so before I left the gym the other day, I says, Bill, can I let people know we're working together? And so that's how it come out. But but no. He's really knuckling down, and we had a good chat. We've trained for a little bit, so he started to knuckle down now, and he met Eddie Hearn today, his promoter, and I've seen that they've announced that he's going to be out, this side before Christmas, which is this is what we've started to train for.
Yeah, it obviously must be a massive positive for Billy Joe, as you mentioned there. I mean, he knows you so well anyway, but being closer to home as well. And, I suppose it's easy for you as well, personally, Mark, just picking up, with somebody that you know so well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, we do know each other very, very, very well. But when my dad trained Bill, I didn't do that much pads with him. I've done a little bit, but not a lot. But I feel like, as I've my last couple of sessions with him, I feel like I've been doing pads with him forever. So You know, we're finding tweaking little new stuff, which is going to be difficult with him. It's not difficult, but he's a masterclass boxer. He's a master boxer anyway. But there are reminders and tweaks that we all need as you know, in life. So that's my job, and that's my job. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the future with him for sure.
Definitely, mate. Obviously, the fight that we all as fans wanted to see was, you know, the Canelo fight. How disappointed do you think, you know, it is for Billy, considering it looked at one point that it was almost made? Then it was sort of, I feel he was messed about a bit by Canelo again. Do you think the whole situation was a bit disappointing and maybe dealt with quite poorly from Canelo's perspective?
Do you know what? I can't really I can't really comment on it. I mean, at the time when all this was going on, you know, I think a lot of people think because, you know, we're boxing coaches and trainers, we've got our eye on everything.
Yeah.
But I was working with Dillian Whyte at the time, and it took up a hell of a lot of time. And but we always, you know, when we went back to our rooms, we always kept an eye on the boxing, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, it was frustrating for me as a fan at the time because I wasn't involved with Billy then with the Canelo fight, because I really believe that, you know, Billy Joe Saunders is the only guy out there that can give him any problems, you know, give Canelo any problems. And I'm really even get me, how can I say, I've got my juices flowing, my own juices flowing, because I know there's more to come out of Billy Joe Saunders, and I really believe that I can find it. You know, find the best of him, bring out the best of him, and I'm really confident of that. So I'm not talking as a fan now. So if it was to come about, that would be brilliant. You know, it'd be brilliant to find a formula to beat Canelo, and I'm pretty confident. You know, we're fighting people. We love to win, and I think we're really going to. I'm hoping that we can get our heads together and get the job done.
Yeah. No, as Scott said, Mark, I mean, the huge fight, the one we all wanted was the Canelo fight, but there's still so many big fights out there for Billy Joe. I mean, there's the potential of this Ciaran Smith fight, obviously massive in the UK, and also the Andrade fight as well has been talked up, which is a bit of needling unfinished business between those two. From your personal perspective, mate, is it one of the two fights that you would prefer to see Billy involved in?
Do you know what? Having felt Billy Joe in the last couple of days, last week I should say, the week ain't over yet, but from Monday to today, he's really got a buzz about him, you know, and whether it's Callum Smith, Andrade, you know, or Canelo, we'll work accordingly, and we'd welcome any of them. I'd like to see him have a run out, to tell the truth. You know what I mean? I would like to see him have a run out, and when I mean a run out, you know, someone in the top 10 or someone like that. But and Andrade, I guess, and is probably of that, or there's a couple of other names there, which I don't want to mention because I'm not. No, I'd like to see Billy Joe have a run out this side of Christmas before any big fights. Yeah.
Is that, do you think, quite likely on the cards? Obviously, not giving anything away. Is that what Eddie Hearn wants as well? Do you think we'll see him fight this side of Christmas? And I'm assuming it will, like you just said, it won't be a massive name, but it'll be somebody half decent. Is that the aim, Mark?
Well, do you know what? I left Billy Joe in the gym today as Eddie walked in, and the gym was pretty busy today. So we done our work beforehand, before it got busy. Me and Bill done our work, and I knew he was meeting Eddie, and so I shook hands with everyone. And I went my own way, but I'll see Bill in the morning and we'll catch up. But I know they plan to get out before Christmas, because I saw the announcement by Matchroom Boxing. So that's all I can say at this stage.
Yeah, Mark, I want to come back and touch upon the Romford Bull, John Fisher, as we mentioned. someone you and us as fans are very excited about in the heavyweight division. How did the link up come about between yourselves? Was it through your mutual friend Will Jones, who we happen to know as well?
Yeah, as it happens, I'm glad you mentioned Will, because about a year ago, it might have been about a year and a half ago, I saw Johnny Fisher on social media doing some pad work, and I liked his fluidity and his snappiness and power, and I tried to get him down to Loughborough University, where I was training Dillian Whyte at the time, and he had some amateur he was involved in his amateur boxing, so he couldn't get down to us, but so I spotted him a little while ago, and then sorry, the car's gone out. Oh, there we go. Shortly, when the lockdown got lifted a little bit and we was allowed in the gym, so I popped down to Will Jones' gym, the Edge gym in Rumford, and then I think I bumped into him down there, and Will introduced me to him and said, would you do something with him? And Sam Jones, his manager, rang me, and I said, yeah, send him up. So he come up, and we clicked straight away. Yeah, and I think he's got a good he's got a good opportunity for sure. He's the right age. He's got all the credentials that a trainer, a promoter, and a manager would want in a heavyweight. You know?
Yeah,
definitely. I spoke to Shane from S-Jam in the week, Mark, and he said he could potentially be fighting on a pretty big card in December. Is that right, or are you still keeping quiet about that at the moment?
Well, what you guys are saying is what I'm hearing too. And I was with Johnny today, funny enough. I was with, before I left Johnny and Eddie and Billy, Johnny rang me after, and he said what you just said there. He said, looks like being out, November, December. So fantastic news. And we just got to get him ready and tick him over, not burn him out, because he's a phenomenal athlete. He's at a good weight. He's 17 stone and 21-year-old. But yeah, I've sparred him here and there since I've been training him. But I thought things to myself. I started working with Billy, and I got in touch with Peter Fury. So I just smelled that Huey would be fine, Huey, and he said, yeah. He said, Mark, send him up, and we'll look after him. So I'm grateful to Peter Fury for doing that for us. Yeah, so it should be a good education for him. He's going to have a week down there next week. Yeah,
great stuff, mate. That'd be awesome. Now, this is obviously more of a job from Eddie's point of view and Sam as well. But I just want to get your thoughts, Mark. How important is it to get the right matchmaking for an exciting prospect, but particularly in the heavyweight division as well, where one punch, as we know, can change anything? How important do you feel it is, mate?
It's very important when you're bringing prospects through. You got to. It's not difficult for the team to get it right, But like you say, it's heavyweight boxing and whatnot. But it's up to us. It's up to everyone to do their job, and as in the trainer, the promoter, the matchmaker, and the manager. But yeah, he'll be. He's going to be. I think he's going to be a very, very promising prospect, and we ain't got to hold him back too much. But at 21, you got to test the water. You got a couple of years, test the water with him first. But he can't wait. He can't wait. He's got a little bit to learn, like we all have at that age. But he's phenomenally hungry, and he's eager to learn. And yeah, he's lovely. He's a lovely young man to work with, for sure. Yeah.
Speaking of how one punch can change everything, Mark, Dillian Whyte versus Povetkin, and obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts. Considering that obviously there's no secret how well you did with Dillian, was it as much of a shock for you as it was for the rest of us watching that fight, considering how well Dillian seemed to be doing in the fight?
Oh, it was very shocking. Yeah, it was shocking. It was shocking. He was winning. He was in control. He just got a little bit lackadaisical, if you ask me, and not went asleep, but kind of must have went asleep a little bit, and switch off. You can't switch off with experienced guys. You cannot switch off with them because they're not. They're winners. They'll find a way to win if they can. And they're not even tricks up their sleeve. They're things that they've been doing for years, and they see it and they smell it, and that's just what they do, and it's just what experienced guys do. Sometimes you can't out youth them, but you can old man them. Old man them. He wasn't getting old manned, actually. He wasn't getting old man, but that was an old experience, pretty simple shot. Stuck the jab in his face. I think he fainted the jab and lifted it up.
And the last thing you lose as a fighter is your power, isn't it, Mark? I mean, Povetkin's never going to lose that power, is he?
No, never. You never. It's the old saying. It ain't even a saying. They never lose their power, and you lose your little bit of timing, and you lose your legs, but you kind of get a bit wiser, and more patient as you get older, and you have to rely on that patience and that wiseness to get through certain things in life, including fights. And credit to Alexander Povetkin, it was a fantastic shot, and he set it up.
Yeah, there's been a few question marks thrown over how quickly the rematch is coming about, Mark. I mean, what's your thoughts on it? Do you think it's maybe a risk that he has almost had to take, considering, I mean, the mandatory position is sort of on the line really now? Do you think it's a risk he's had to take?
Well, I know Dillian well, and I think a little bit like him himself. We want to put it right. We want to put it right. So I understand where Dillian's coming from, and I did say to a few other people, no, he's doing the right thing, getting straight back on the horse and getting on with the job, and he's got to do what he should have done the first time around. And but then obviously, sitting back thinking about it, I mean, I wouldn't want him to lose that fight, because it happens. You lose if you don't jump on this fight now, we would lose it, and he wouldn't live with himself. I know what Dillian's like. He so it was a concussive knockout. It was a concussive knockout. Long as he's all cleared and he's checked, and the period, the 45 days, I think it is, isn't it? That's
45. Yeah.
Yeah. So long as that's all done and it's all cleared by the British Boxing Board of Control and everyone's happy, I think he's go and put it right, because where does he go if you don't? Where does he go if you don't? I mean, could he put it off till January, February, that same fight? I mean, would that? I don't know if he could have slipped off in the wilderness with that built up belt. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because some strange things are happening these days.
Speaking of strange things, Mark, the WBC mandatory position that we've obviously been talking about. I mean, they've made Dillian wait a hell of a long time, haven't they, for the shot? I mean, how frustrating was it for you seeing Dominic Breazeale getting the shot a while there before Dillian, and really it should have really been Dillian, shouldn't it?
Yeah, well, at the time when it was all kicking off, when they was all screaming about Dillian's got to fight Wilder fight this one, fight that one. To be honest, as his coach and his trainer, I was quite happy with the fights we were getting, because there was things he needed to go through. Dillian Whyte, there's experiences he needed to get through. Yeah, but I think after the Rivas fight, we was ready. He was ready to, he was more than ready to, to tackle on the top two, at the time. So that was that's when it started getting frustrating for me. But I weren't really frustrated. But going back when they was all kicking off about his the mandatory position, and he should have been fighting it, a year or two ago. I was quite happy for him to take the Chisora fight, the second one, and the Parker fight. He learned a lot in the Parker fight, and also the Rivas fight. So I think, so that's where I never really got frustrated. I was happy that he was winning. He was
There's
in big
momentum
fight.
behind him, isn't there, as well?
Yeah, and he was learning. He was winning. He was learning. He was earning. But I'd like to have seen him done the job with Povetkin that time, and then him to get his shot. So that was I weren't involved with him then, but I can understand how the team felt. So
Yeah.
that was but he he's going to kick himself because but he'll go and put the job right. But he could have and he should have done it the first time round.
Well, we spoke about fights, that unfortunately haven't happened because of the circumstances we've been through. Fights we'd like to see. I just want to get your thoughts. I mean, if there were 3 dream fights, shall we say, that you could pick right now to happen for next year, who would they be, mate, and why? Hopefully when boxing sort of gets back to a bit more of normality, shall we say.
Yeah. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Kell Brook and what's his name?
Terence Crawford.
Terence Crawford.
Crawford.
Yeah.
And next year you're talking about?
Yeah, next year, mate, yeah.
Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo Alvarez.
Great stuff, mate.
Definitely sounds good to me. Do you think Eddie and Frank will ever sit down, have this coffee, and make some of those dream fights that we've talked about? Do you think that could ever happen, Mark?
Well, I've heard today. I think I saw somewhere on social media that they're getting together, and it's really, really nice because it just is, isn't it? I mean, they've both got big fighters in both camps, and I think the public would like to see the clashes. I mean, Buatsi and Yard, for instance, and there's others out there, but no, it's positive. It's positive. Let's hope it happens. I'm sure I'll see it today somewhere. I think I see Eddie Earn say it on social media or something.
Yeah, I mean, as boxing fans, is what we want to see in it. And like you said, there's so many big crossover fights that can be made, and we certainly hope they can happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only ones that are losing out is the fans, and
yeah.
I think the fighters at the end of the day, I think they would want it and all, who are in question.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Mark, just before we leave you, mate, to get on with the rest of your evening, I've got to ask you, how is the legend that is Jimmy Tibbs, mate? How's he doing? Hope he's well.
My dad's very, very well. He's a little bit frustrated because I think he was hoping to do some cuts work on these shows and that, but obviously because of his age and whatnot, they're not letting people of his age in, sort of thing. So he's a little bit frustrated with that. But Dad's as fit as a fiddle, mate. I'm telling you.
I can imagine, mate.
Switched on as they come and as fit as a fiddle. And he still can't wait to get back in the gym. And he comes up our gym from time to time and pokes his nose in. But he loves doing the cuts work now. He enjoys doing that. Yeah, but he's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, please send our best regards to him anyway, Mark.
Also will. Absolutely. Definitely. Thank
Mark,
you.
We just have to say, obviously, thanks for your time today, and thanks for driving yourself to the house in the car to speak to us. We do really appreciate it, and we wish you all the best, mate, now for moving forward in the future.
Thanks, guys. I'm sorry, mate. Me technical stuff's not I'm getting there.
That's okay.
All the best, guys. Thank you both.
Yeah.
No worries.
Nice one, Mark. Take care,
Thank
mate.
you, Mark. Take care, buddy.
Oh.